Yo, let me tell y'all something I should have said on here a long time ago. Uh, Back in high school, my dad had a conversation with me. I wanted a scholarship in football. I loved the sport. I wanted to make it to the NFL. But at that time in my life, I was a sophomore. I just wasn't good enough at the time. And I wasn't working hard enough. And I was getting to that threshold where it's like either I'm about to give up and just go through the motions or I'm all in. And my dad told me one day, he was like, son, when you graduate in about 2 years, 2.5 years, when you graduate, some of your teammates are going to go off to the college of their dreams and they're going to go off and they're going to live their dream life. And if you don't lock in and do what you're supposed to do, you're going to sit back and watch it. And then you're going to have to live with the regret of not doing enough. It's a lot of regrets in this world, but the regret of not doing enough when it was in your control is one of the hardest things to deal with. A lot of things, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. If it's not, you feel me? Certain people have freak accidents, injuries, things that you just can't control. I say all that to say, I locked in, I did what I was supposed to do. I ended up going to the University of Texas, my dream school, full ride scholarship for football. That conversation helped get me into the NFL, right? But what I didn't understand at the time is when those 2.5 years passed and I got into my dream school, I thought I was done. I'm like, oh, bet. Everything else is just finna, red carpet, it's finna be handed to me. And I got lackadaisical and I eased up. And that healthy obsession that I had and the realization that at each new level is new requirements and it starts over. So everything I did to get to college, I was back on base level. I had to do all that work again and again. And I didn't think about that. I just stopped. I just felt like I had did enough in those 2.5 years to carry me for the rest of my life. And one of the biggest regrets I have in my NFL career is that I wasn't committed in a healthy obsession to maximize it. And it cost me millions of dollars because God had it for me, but I was blocking my own blessings. Living and seeing freely, I knew better. Like I knew God, I grew up in the church and I was just straying and doing what I wanted to do. And by the grace of God, I ended up getting baptized in the NFL and I found God through football in a real way, like fully committed myself to it. But I cost myself time, great relationships, and millions of dollars and so many more opportunities. And God was still faithful. I cannot complain. Hold on. I cannot complain. But the regret of knowing that there was so much more for me on the other side, and I squandered it because I got comfortable, complacent, and strayed and did what I wanted to do and let sin infiltrate my life and laziness and procrastination fill my life, and I got arrogant and thought it was just supposed to happen, is what cost me so much. So for y'all that don't know me, my name Marcus. I go by Mo for my music, play in the NFL. I use this platform to just give advice, to tell y'all my testimony, the things I've struggled with. I also do the same thing through my music. But I also am a devout believer in Christ. And I'm gonna try to do more videos like this where I just speak on my past and my regret. And sometimes it's hard to talk about in depth, but I want to just be more honest and more real about it. If you like the content, follow me. Y'all have a blessed day.
Man, shout out to the content creator, man. I really, really appreciate him sharing this message. See, the reason I put this video out because I think a lot of times, listen, my content, right, is definitely talking about how to make men better. Also, even on the side track of it, how to make women better too, because when you hearing the message on when I speak to men, right, and you hear the messages from men about, hey man, this is what we want, or hey, nobody really pushed back on them to hold them accountable as well, then women don't get a chance to learn, right? But also for the men, they need to see the side of, hey, this is what women are saying, out there in the market. And so it's just kind of a conglomerate of everything kind of mixed on how to just make everybody better in a sense. But I love videos like this in particular because in the beginning, he was like, man, when I spoke to my dad, he told me XYZ, right? And I just shot a video about why it's important to have the father in the home, right? Is why it's so important to be raised around other men, because that it could have been another man telling him that too, right? But the point is, a man told him but specifically his father told him, hey man, this is the lesson you're going to learn. In 2.5 years, if you don't lock in, you're going to see your friends go to where they want to go to and live their dreams. And you're going to regret it, because there are things in life that we can control and things we can't control. But the things that you can control, you have to take the bull by the horns and go for it. Right. And this is something that I learned probably in the last like 2 to 3 years. Like, there's levels to it. Right. Listen, because a lot of people don't know my story. Right. I really come from the projects. Right. I really come from Adamsville, Georgia, or Adamsville in Atlanta before, like, they shut down a lot of them projects and stuff, Harris Homes and all that, for anybody from Atlanta. But we came from nothing. So for me to be where I am now, I'm like, man, I can sit back now. You know what I mean? I got a nice, beautiful house. I'm in a great community, car paid for, working a nice career, saving some money, investing some money. I have a great wife, beautiful wife. You know what I mean? I'm good. Nah, there's levels to it, because once you get there, you cannot become complacent. There's more that God is asking for you and requiring from you. And if you're not locked in, you're not connected to God, you're going to miss it. Right? You're going to miss so many more opportunities. You're going to stray away from the vision that he may have for you. And this is what I'm learning, but it takes a lot of times, even if you don't have a father, maybe you have a father-in-law, maybe you have an uncle, maybe you have a close brother, some other man around you or other men's around you, or you can put yourself around other men who can continuously push you in the right direction. So even at that point in his life, he had his father, but the next level, he still needed to keep himself around other men to continue to push him and so he can keep growing. This is something that I had to learn. Like, I just can't do it by myself. I have to continuously do the work myself, number one, right? But also, I have to do the work of being around other men and keep continuing to grow, because there's levels to it, right? So I just think it's so powerful, again, to, number one, have the father in the home to give the lessons, especially to young boys. It's just, we need it, man. We need it. Because, yeah, he said, hey, I got to this point where I missed, but he probably wouldn't have never made it to that point if he never had that conversation. You follow me? And he still had doors open for him, but if he never had that conversation, he probably would have regretted it. He probably wouldn't have put that work in to lock in for the next 2 years. And from what he said, he made it to the NFL. You know how hard it is to make it to the NBA, the NFL. I remember, I think it was on the NBA side. I think it was Jalen Rose. He was talking on ESPN one day, and he was like, "Do y'all know it's only X amount of thousands of people that made it to the NBA? I think it's only every season. I think it's like 450 players or something like that." He was like, "Yo, it's only been like a few, couple thousand people that's ever played in the NBA. You know how many teams that are in college? You know how many people in high school? These different what is they called? AAUs teams out there that's playing basketball and football from college. Like, how many teams and out there? Everybody don't make it. So for him to make it in the NFL and play, I don't know how long he played. I don't know his background, but for him to make it to that level, he put in a lot of work. He stayed locked in for a good bit. But guess what? All that started from a conversation with his father. It started from the father. You follow me? So it just, again, I put this video out also because, number one, he had an awesome message, right? But number two, to make sure I highlight the fact that he had a conversation with his father. He had a conversation with another man that pushed him in the right direction, who gave him the right messaging so he can learn the lesson to put him in position in life to win. That's why I'm putting this video out here. So again, man, shout out to him, because I think it's just, again, wonderful message, wonderful story. And I really appreciate him sharing. So I know y'all got a lot of value out of that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this out because somebody need to hear this message. Somebody need to hear this, man. These are the powerful things I love pushing on the internet. Listen, we need to learn from everybody, right? We need to hear the messages that we don't like too. Get it twisted. Because some messages make us feel uncomfortable to talk about. But all of it count. All the messaging count. You follow me? All of it count. It's just what you do with it. So that being said, like I said, subscribe, share it out, hit the like button. And I really, really appreciate y'all. Y'all just don't understand it. Much love. Peace.